Hi, guys. Hi, happy Seed Bead Saturday. Thank you for being here. I see so many awesome friends in the chat. Thank you guys for joining. This is a special one. I'm so glad you guys are here. It's going to have a lot. So I'm going to just like dive right in, but I just want to give you a heads up. I am doing a giveaway today. This is for the live. So if you're watching this later, the giveaway is just for the live. So we're 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, the 19th. And so if you're here with us live and you want to hit hashtag Gifty in the chat, I'm going to be giving away a live sale haul. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I shop the live sale, I'm kind of like, I'm doing other stuff. I'm paying attention. I'm like, ooh, and I might hit the button. And I don't even know. I waitlist warrior on some stuff. Maybe I get it. Maybe I don't. I check out and then I forget. And then something arrives and I'm like, did I order? And I can't remember. And I open it and it's like a surprise again. So now it'll be like you get another surprise from the live sale. Only I shopped it for you. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. And so again, that's hashtag Gifty. And at the end of the live, we'll do a drawing. And I have Colleen with me. She's in StreamYard and in the chat. So she'll be dropping links and answering your guys' questions as I go. And I'm going to dive right in because this project is a little epic. A lot of stuff. I promise there's still seed beads. I know it is Seed Bead Saturday, but we're going to be doing some gemstone knotting. So this beautiful, beautiful gemstone necklace here has lapis. It has this beautiful quartz in it. Isn't that pretty? You'll get a closer view on the mat, but there's so many cool, like just features, the beautiful Czech glass. Everything I'm using here is linked in the description to this video. And there's also a link there that takes you to a shopping page where all the little bits and pieces that I've used are put together all in one page where you can find it on Sam's Bead Shop website. So if you would like to shop the sale, you just got to click that link and you'll be right there. All right, and so I'm going to make my screen a little bigger so you can see more detail. So there's actually quite a lot going on here. There is the beautiful gemstones, and these are what I have left of the strands. You'll want to have a full strand to complete your design. But this is the look at the color on that. I mean, it looks like there's little stars in it. It's like a night sky with little Milky Way stars floating throughout. Very beautiful. And the clarity on these is stunning. I always love quartz, but this is particularly high quality quartz. It's just amazing. It's just perfectly clear. And then there's some Czech. So there's some pinch beads. There's this gorgeous strand of Brios. And I've got some larger Czech glass. So these beautiful ones are the ones that are featured right here. Just really glamorous, so pretty. And so I'm going to be using those. The color is stunning. They almost have like an amethyst kind of hidden in there. And then the feature are the buttons. So there's going to be a lot of button features. There's the dragonfly necklace that I did Wednesday. And then I also have another project coming up that's using another beautiful, like kind of bright button, some fuchsia to it. But today's feature is this gorgeous peacock. And it's going to be used as the focal. And then there's some spinel, little teeny spinel, which gets used in the tassel. And then, because it's Seed Bead Saturday, we do have a tube of seed beads. And these are size 8. In their metallic nebula, which I think is just perfect for the feeling of this piece. So one other thing you're going to need, and I'll show you where it comes in here really quickly, is you're going to need these little rings. So you just need one. And you could use kind of anything around this size, 11.5 millimeter or so. These come in a lot of different colors if you want to match the button you're using. But in this case, you're not really going to see it. So let me show you the magic back here behind the curtain. That is what's holding the tassel together. And the tassel has 2 parts. The tassel is made on this ring, and this is brick stitch. So we're going to do this first. We're just going to create this little component on the ring. Looks just like that. And I'm going to bring in just a little bit of thread for that. And that's where you see the use of the pinch beads, the seed beads, and the spinel is in there. Also those brios and some of the little spacer beads that are included in the brio strand. Those little ones right there. So that's step 1, is we'll create that. And it's a really fast brick stitch, 5 beads start, really easy. Then we'll switch to some knotting. I have a sample pre-made for the knotting. And you'll notice on this one that I used the B-Lon in gray. It's the beautiful gray color there. It's really it's the color that I think is the best choice for this design. But I want you to be able to see really clearly what I'm doing. So I did for my demo today use black, and I'll be using black on the finishing demo. But here's a finished one that I made with Northern Lights. I wanted to make sure I had enough beads, so I did a practice one that we can show finishing on. And again, this is all from the March box. So all these little gorgeous beads. I have a pattern. I'll share my pattern and all the tips and tricks for how to do, things like what length do I cut? And so at the end, we'll bring these together. We'll bring them through a button with our little ring tassel. And I have some little tricks and treasures to show you how to finish the strand ends. And if you have a lighter or a burner handy, that's going to come in handy right at the end. You see where I did some burning here? So I'm gonna jump in because there's a lot of stuff to show. I'm just set all this aside for now. So what you're going to need at first are, we're going to need the seed beads, the spinel, we'll need the brios and the rings, we'll need the pinch beads, and I think I even have a little baggie of loose ones really quick. Let me get that for you. So I've got some extras here. I'll sort through those, but I might need to cut this strand to get some of these little extras, little beads that I used. Pauline, cool. That's awesome. She says she ordered. Oh, thank you, Gina. I hope you guys will love this one. This is something kind of different. So we're definitely having a very exciting seed bead Saturday with a lot of extra bells and whistles today. And I wanted to share one more time that I used different colors of threads. So I'm going to be using black today so you can see my demos, but if you use a white thread, it's less noticeable on the ring when you do the stitching, but my black thread's going to blend in really nicely with my spinel. So I think it's a win either way. And again, it is really hidden. You don't see it when it's finished. So it actually does not matter. I'm using some Wildfire Ultra. You can really use any kind of skinny thread, like a lighter thread. So the kind of thread that you would normally use for fringe, that's what you want to use here. You could also use Wildfire. I feel like Wildfire should be fine. And you don't need a lot of thread, so maybe just like a wingspan and a half, or 1 arm length and a half or so. So 40 inches, probably plenty. And then you'll just want to use a hard beading needle, which can be size 10, size 11, just anything like that. And leaving about 7 inches as your tail, go ahead and tie a double knot onto your ring. So just like that. And I'm just going to thread my needle really quick. All right. And so I'm going to start with my first spinel bead. You could go right to the seed beads if you want. This tassel is totally your style, whatever you'd like to do. So you can make it work however you want to. All right, so there's my bead. This is a me thing. This is not required, but I actually really do love to start a brick stitch pattern by feeding my tail thread up through the first bead that I pick up. You can always do the 2 bead start. If you know brick stitch, that's usually what folks do. But I have my own little way of doing it where I make a diamond ring, or in this case, kind of a spinel ring. And then just kind of pull your working tail thread apart. And it serves the purpose of both tightening your knot, getting the bead to sit where you want it to. And then as a bonus, it brings that knot into the bead most of the time. So pretty cool. Here's my next spinel bead. Grab that and pick that bead up. Bring your needle behind the component, through it, and then just hold everything in your finger, like kind of pinch it like that while you're pulling your thread through, and then bring your needle back up through the bead. So I'm just going to repeat that for a total of 5 of the spinel beads. So let's get 3 more of those. There we go. The pinch beads really wanted to be included already, but they have to wait a minute. They're later in the design. So again, another bead. And if you hold it with your finger kind of pressing against the component, it'll help your thread stay where you want it. And we'll just pull thread through and back it through that bead. And there you go. All right. Oh, thank you. I think that's Lori that's saying L4LL. Yeah, thank you so much. That is a really fun way to start brick stitch, and I find it easier, honest, like way easier than my other methods. So let me show you the design that I did originally for this design. Here has something kind of unique happening. You do not have to do this exact count though. It's just only if you like it. So what I did is I strung some spinel. Let's just get a little pile of my spinel going. And I am going to need to get the pinch beads going. So those are here. Just make yourself some little piles. And I've also got my cheat sheet going right here. So this is my cheat sheet. Copy that. And here's our seed beads. Got some Brios. All right. So what I did is I strung a spinel bead and a seed bead. And then repeat that one more time. So you'll have these 4. And then a pinch bead. And then I did seed bead and a spinel bead, seed bead, a spinel bead, and another pinch bead. So far, got that. And then here I did another seed bead, and then a spinel, another seed bead, another spinel, and another seed bead. And then you'll notice this kind of unusual purple bead here. This is all optional, but this little purple bead came from this strand. Those little tinies there. There's a lot of things you could use in its place. It's a 3mm size. You could also just put another spinel on there too. But these lengths aren't set in stone. It's just whatever you like. And then I did a Brio after that. And then one more of those little 3mm beads. Bring that on. And then just repeat this back up. So whatever you did on the first one, which really could have been anything you wanted, just copy it as you bring your beads back. So there's a copy of that. And a pinch bead. And then I'm going to copy what I did above that. So spinel, seed bead. Chasing these around is kind of fun. Seed bead. And another pinch bead. And to finish it up, I'm copying this. And got it. All right. So what you should have is something that looks like that. And then just go ahead and bring your needle up through that second spinel bead that's in the ring there. And if you want to, as you're going through that bead, go ahead and go through the component. See how I went through it? And it'll just save you a swoop later. And so now you have something that looks like this. It might still be a tiny, tiny bit loose. Don't worry if it is. And then from whatever side you went behind the component, come around the front and go through just that first spinel. This is the one that's in the brick stitch. So this is going to tighten everything up. It's going to get that gap to go away and make that first little loop tighter. So for the center one, I did something a little different because there's only 5. So this one is just going to be a basic string of the same pattern. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 beads, basically, alternating them. Oh, Gina, I'm so glad. I hope you will try bead weaving because it is definitely fun. Oh, and sorry, guys, I forgot to show you something. I got excited and then I skipped something. So from where I am here, I'm just exiting from that spinel. But we need to be exiting from the third one. my bad. Okay, so we got to go through this bead right here and then go around and behind it, flip it over, and we'll head through the spinel bead right here. Okay, and so now I'm going to be stringing these 2, 3, and 4, and a pinch bead. And this is the same pattern we've got going next to us right here, so we're just copying it. And there's our next pinch bead. And let's get more of these. Hang on one second. Make sure I'm still doing good on time. Good. I was hoping to get through this in the first 20 so I can show you everything all at once. And here's this one, pinch bead, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And to end it, I'm going to need to separate these again. We'll get these going because I need that little bead right there. So there's that little bead right there, and then go through a pinch bead and grab a seed bead. So this is going to be the only traditional fringe strand you have to go back through. The only time we have to do this. We're going to skip one bead there at the bottom and just carefully weave all the way up through those. And then when you get to the top here, go through that spinel bead. I'm going to pinch the bottom bead there and then just pull. And the same thing we did before, we're going to want to weave through the component, go around the front, back through that same spinel bead that we just came up through. That's going to tighten everything up. And now make a turn and head through the next one that's remaining unworked. Through the component, can help to flip it. And then head right back up through that second one. All right, really quickly, I'm going to string a repeat of what I did here. And then we'll have our tassel ready to attach to our necklace. So it is a spinel bead. There we go. 3, 4, and a pinch bead. And a pinch bead. 1. And then, so nope, not one of those. We want one of those. A Brio. Another one of those. Little teenies. Oops. Oh, I have a miscount? Kathy says I have a miscount. Let's take a look. The second leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see it. And this one right here, it's supposed to be longer. That was just part of the design. I just kind of decided to make it longer, but maybe I'd made it a little too long. I don't know. I feel like it's in the realm of style. Let's see if it is still super long. It might be. Yeah, I might have added an extra repeat there. Oh, no, maybe. They'll seem okay. Well, you might be right. I might have made too many in the center there, but I feel like it's okay because it's meant to be an kind of a standout is a little different. Basically, I'll put this here for a second in case anyone wants to screenshot it. That's what I did on the original. And I might have something more artistic happening at this one. But it's still going to, for demo purposes, it's going to make sense as far as like how we construct. And Really, the counts are kind of up to you anyway. They can become so many things. They can become a lot of different, like, I don't know, just kind of like it's just you're in the realm of style at this point when it comes to how many beads you'll include and which ones to add. Oops, I want to do the spinel here. This uses a lot of the spinel, and they're really sparkly, so you're gonna love it. You're gonna love seeing all those gorgeous beads together. It's really fun. And my tassel is almost complete here. Oh, I won't need one more of these. There we go. Do I have 4? Yeah. All right. So we head up for the last one here. And there you go. So we do have something different going on. This one is a little shorter, and this one I decided would be longer. But then when you bring on all these others, I'll show you at the end, they're longer too. See, so you just have a lot of messy happening like that. See, it is still so pretty. So don't worry, whatever counts you end up doing, you can end up just making them random if you want to. And you don't have to do this loop thing. I just wanted to use the Brio. You could always make just fringe strands of any variety, really. Really, the reason I did this, honestly, was just because I wanted to use those Spinel, but they were a little too small for my B-Lon. And so I decided I needed to do something extra so that I could have my Spinel in there. There we go. Okay. If you get a knot, stay calm and do not. And there we go. One last little bead to get through. And check this out. Bonus, you've met your tail. And so you can do a knot if you want to. I won't tell anybody. And this thread is so tiny that you're not going to notice it. I'm going to bring it down through a bead or 2 or 3. And I just felt that little pop of a knot moving into a bead. Tighten it, and then let's trim it. I'm going to trim that side. And let's trim that side. Okay. Bead weaving over for the day. Move that needle out of the way. And now we have this lovely component. If you want to skip making this component, if you don't want to go through all those hoops of making this one thing you could do is you could just use a ready-made tassel. So if you have a ready-made tassel handy, feel free to use that. You can always get one. I bet you there's some on Sam's website right now. He always has cool stuff. Another thing you could do is a series of charms. Another idea that I had is making a chain of jump rings, and on each one of those do a wire-wrapped gemstone element, you know, that kind of stuff. There's lots of ways you can get around having to do this bead weaving, but I just wanted to show it in case anyone likes it. And now we have another little tassel to use. So for now, just set that aside and don't lose it. I'll lose it for sure. I'm going to lose it, but setting that aside for now. So the next thing we want to do is the gemstone knotting. And so you're going to want to cut a length of thread, or sorry, let me bring it back over. In this case, I'm using a Tex 210. So that is a really nice size for a standard drill. So anything that you see on the mat here that I've got is a standard drill. I also tested out beads from March's Northern Lights box, and again, those were a standard drill. But most gemstones in Czech Glass, with the exception of some of the smaller-ish ones, most of those tend to be a standard drill. So here's a good example. Some melons, some Czech Glass rounds, and then I forget what the gemstone was in Northern Lights, but a lot of you guys will probably remember. There's that gemstone. You see how they just go right together like that. I don't remember what those were either, but those are beautiful. And in today's case, I'm going to be using this gorgeous Lapis, the Quartz, get that ready, and our Czech Glass. So obviously I'm not going to be able to make it through the whole knotting. That's why I have that sample ready for us to finish on, but I'm going to show you starting it, and I'm going to tell you the secret sauce for how to figure out your length. So unfortunately, the smaller your beads, the more knots you're going to need to make the length that you want it to be. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I love these buttons. Oh my goodness. I just wanted them to be something special. So, but what you'll want to do is just kind of figure out first and foremost, what length of design do I want for my necklace to have? And whatever that length is, multiply it by 2, because this is worked with doubled strand. So you want to times that by 2. And now consider that the knots are going to consume a ton of length. And so if you're working with a gemstone that's about 8 millimeters, or if it's a mix of, in this case, something a little larger and something a little smaller than 8 millimeter, then this rule of thumb will probably be plenty for you. But if you just take and double it again. So for example, this design right here, I cut 125 inches of thread. So I have a table downstairs that's roughly 65 inches long. And I just stretch it across the table till it's at the end, which is about 65 inches. And then I double that. And that gives me something I can put over my head. Let me get you an exact measure for this one. It will be different depending on what beads you've got going, but for this one, it's about 29 inches, a little hair under 29 inches if you measure from here to here. And that's the length, the full length of it, which is really nice. I'll try it on at the end and show you the length that it goes right over your head like that. No, I did the same exact process when I was making this sample. And again, these beads are approximately 8 millimeter. And I got, here's 0. I started with 125 inches. And it gave me, keep in mind that's doubled. We work doubled. Again, I'm getting to about 28.5, almost 29. So right about there. So that's a really good standard length for something to go over the head. It's also something you can just remember 120, 125 inches or so, and that'll get you there. So there's that number. And so here's a length of thread that I cut earlier. You want to bring it to the midpoint by putting the ends together. And you'll notice here at the center, something kind of interesting. So this was born of necessity, and I'll explain what it is. I usually use, when I'm making this kind of a design, I usually use one of these kind of needles. So these are the collapsible eye. You need something really thin to get through the beads. But I had one that I should have been working with something thicker. I know I have a dozen of these around. I needed to have been working with the stronger one, but I grabbed the extra fine by accident. And so mine broke about halfway through when I was making the original. I did not want to lose all my work. So I improvised. If you have some 28 gauge wire, you can make one, and that can be put on after you've already broken your other one. So I ended up using that for all of these. I thought it was really handy. So you can just really easily make them. Get some nylon jaw pliers. Let me grab a pair real quick. A pair next to me here. So a 28 gauge, get some nylon jaws, and then just flatten it. You can use your thread to hold it. And this will get through most of your standard drill gemstones. You can also trim the end so that it's flush. And then if you have one of these in something a little stronger than fine, so at least work with like the regular strong one, that's great for here. You'll just need to put it on before we do the next step. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Yeah, I hope that saves you some time. It has saved me because I had broken mine. And as you'll see when this is worked, what we're about to do is we're about to tie a knot down here. So there's no way to get your needle back on it here at the top once you've done that. And so I was like, oh no, I didn't want to start over, and I didn't want to lose all my thread, and my knots were really pretty on this one. I was like almost done when it happened. So yeah, 28 gauge wire, you got it. So let me show you, again, I'm going to bring this other sample back and show you where we're going because it makes sense to see the destination first. So keep in mind we had the doubled thread that we were working with. Ooh, this is really long, sorry, it's really kind of unwieldy. And so there's our end that's doubled. This is the makeshift needle we had. And then over here at the end, we left a really long tail. So my tail it doesn't need to be as long as this, but I was giving it some extra. It's kind of just up to you how long you want these tassels to be. What you leave here is going to become this stuff right here. See these little bunches with those at the end? So whatever length you have here is for this. And so if that helps you decide how much of a tail to leave when you start. And then you'll start your first bead. So I'm going to start with this brand new one over here. And got my makeshift needle at the midpoint. And then here at the end are my ends, bringing those together. Leaving a tail, you want to tie an overhand knot. So to tie an overhand knot, you want to pinch at the spot where you think you'd like your tail to start. And then just bring it around your fingers and cross it. And then you want to just reach through and grab the tail and pull it through. So really you're just making a knot. So there's my tail. And if you take the sides of thread and just pull them apart like that, you can tighten your knot down. And then pull it apart. So now you've got your starting knot. You've got your needle on one side. And I'm going to introduce one more idea here. Did I bring my tweezers up? Here they are. So if you have tweezers, go for it. Tweezers are great. If you don't have tweezers, no worries. You can use your chain nose pliers. So I'm going to show you using both. You can use bent nose. You can use some round nose. You can use chain nose that I have somewhere floating here. There they are. Okay. You can also use your chain nose. So I'll show you using those different options. And my favorite is tweezers just because they're easiest, but you're not stuck with that. And no, it is, well, Eslon would totally work, Barbara. This, if you're looking for what I'm using exactly, this is on Sam's website. It's called B-Lon, and it's a text two-tone. And in my original sample, I used the gray color from that kit I just showed you. The gray for the quartz is actually quite perfect. We're going to see what it looks like with black, though, here just in a second. All right, so for my counts. So this beautiful design has some really interesting counts, and it's a really fun idea I can share with you if you like it. But you can make them meaningful to you by putting people's birthdays in them or lucky numbers or any kind of stuff like that. So in my case, I did 11, 10, 77. And then I put a little decorative area for the back of the neck. But the way it's going to get worked is the first beads you string are the ones that are going to be near your button, right? And it's going to be working up toward the neck the whole way when you reach a midpoint. And then you'll work all the way back down. And the beads you finish with will become the beads that are next to your button. So start and finish are going to be your focal beads. So make those your favorite beads. So I'm going to do like a mini version just to show you starting. Let's trim that. All right. So there's our bead. I'm going to slide that all the way down until we reach the knot that we made. And this is your opportunity to test that knot. Standard drill, text 210, 2 strands like this, you should have no problem. It should work for almost any bead that's standard. And then you want to do that overhand, cross, and then just pinch that. And then you can reach your finger through that loop and grab that tail. And it's going to be long. This is the one with a needle on it. So just keep pulling it through. And now you've got that little loop going. And tweezers, chain nose pliers, whatever you've got, through the loop. Pinch right above your bead. So just like that. And then grab the moving end of that cord and pull that knot tightly so it sits like that. And just before you let go, you tighten 1, and the other individually. Remove your tweezers, and you can either, if you want a really, really tight connection, you can pull your working and tail thread apart like that and tighten. If you'd like that connection to be a little looser, skip that and just automatically pull each strand individually. And then test it, and you should have a nice, good connection. And then let's repeat that. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's really fun. It is actually one of my favorite things to do. And often I have to lay the beads out first because I'll zone out a little bit on doing this kind of work. And so it's better if I count before and then come back and work on it, you know, kind of mindlessly, I guess. You know, it's just really nice and relaxing. So here's our next bead. Same thing, we're just going to go around our fingers. You can go around 2 or 3 and then pinch the place where you've crossed them and reach through that loop. Grab that thread, both strands. Pull it through. Let's use chain nose pliers this time. You can see that it also works. Through the loop. And then just pinch right above the beads. And then just pull that loop tight. And I do like to pull each of these strands individually because sometimes one of them doesn't tighten, right? And now here, when you remove the tool, if you're using chain nose pliers, I recommend this part, pulling them apart like that. Sometimes the tweezers, I get such a close connection that I don't really need to do this part. But if you're using chain nose, they're just a little taller. So do that. And then you want to individually pull each strand again. Oh, thanks, Barbara. And so there's your beautiful design. And so this is the part where you're just going to keep going. Let's do a couple more. And so to do the necklace that I made there, it took me an hour and a half of just knotting. Just going crazy with the knots. Making sure I can spin them. And it looks really nice. Oh, hey, Gail. Oh, no worries. There's definitely a replay, but you're here just in time to see the finishing part, which is going to be pretty fun. The knitting tool. Kelly, do you mean the knotting tool? So, not sure. So the knotting tool is worked with one strand alone. It might work with 2, but I've never tried it. So I would need to try that to really answer. I learned to do this before the knotting tools, I think, were out on the market really commonly. I learned to do this way back in the day. I was kind of like volunteering at a little local bead store, and they had people come in with broken jewelry all the time. So broken malas was pretty common, and they would want their malas reknotted. And this was the way that the friend that taught me to do it did hers. And so it's always kind of stayed with me as the way to do mala knotting. But I think there's lots of different knotting tools out there. Like there's the Easy Knotter. That one is really fun. But again, I think that's another single strand one. I could be wrong about that. But I have both of those tools. I can't resist a tool. So I always buy them. But I have not tried them with with double thread. If you're working with single thread, absolutely. My only thing is you'd want to go up in the size of the thread, the cord, because this one, if you just had one strand and you were doing knots, I'm not 100% sure, but I have this feeling that the knots would go inside the bead. Like the knot wouldn't be big enough. But then again, I didn't try it yet. So I just kind of stuck in my ways. I was just doing this. So let's see. And then let's see. Leslie says you can use double thread with the Easy Knotter. Ah, thanks, Leslie. Yeah, I've only ever tried it. I've only ever tried it with, with just one strand. I'm kind of, like I was saying, set in my ways. But I really should branch out and try new stuff. And I have both of those tools. I should be giving them a go. So what do you guys think? Let me throw on the check beads so you can see the check bead go. And then we'll switch to our finished sample. So this is a lot of the same stuff. So pretty. So there it is. So I'm going to set that one aside. Let's bring back our finished one. And let me move some of these gorgeous gems so I don't launch them. All right. Aren't those gorgeous? Look at those. Just want to sit here and look at them. They're like little worlds in there. So pretty. So if you keep going like that and warp space-time if you can, because that usually helps, you'll end up with a finished design. That's about the length you need it. And your starting tails will be here. You'll have your finishing side. And you can cut your needle free at that point. Or in our case, our needle can just be removed really easily. There we go. Save that for later. I haven't broken one yet, so it lasted a pretty long time. And now I need our button. Where's our button? Let's find it. Okay, here's our gorgeous button. Some more seed beads. And remember when I said I was going to lose the tassel? Ah, here we go. All right, so everything we need is here. We've got our strands, and you'll need to cut the loop open. So you'll have this finished loop here. Just cut that. There's those, button and tassel. And some seed beads for a minute from now. I'm just going to scan really quick in case I miss any questions. No? So thanks, Barbara. Awesome. All right, looks like you guys are ready. So I'm going to dive into the fun part. So flip your button over so you can see the shank side. And keep in mind, if you want if the button has a top and a bottom, make sure the top part's kind of going this way. So we're going to work into this side of our button. And then with each of these ends, pick one of those threads and bring it through the button shank. And leave the other one free. Do the same thing on this side. Take one and then go through your button. There we go. And leave the other side free. And now you need your tassel. With your tassel, take these two ends of the cord. It might help to trim them to the same length. I'm going to do that really quick. And bring them through. Again, these are the ones that are through the button shank. See there. So we're going through the button and through this gorgeous tassel. And then these two on the side are free and free. And so working with each side independently, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to double knot it tightly, just like that. There's one and two. And then do the same thing with this side. I'm going to do a double knot. There's one. Keep the other cords out of the way if you can. It's going to shove those over there. There's one. And make those as tight as you can. You don't have to be like super tight, but just get them to how to connect like that. So now we've got a double knot and a double knot, and our tassels attached here. We're almost done. Take all four of these cords, and I'm going to also just here at the end, I'm going to make them all the same length, just to make it easier for me to work with. Take all these together, all four. We're going to go around our fingers. Bring all four through this loop. And then you guessed it, we need our tweezers one more time. Go through the loop and pinch all 4 of those cords. So we're pinching all 4 of them as close to those little knots as you can get it. And then also just make sure you didn't pinch the ring because that will make your tweezers not close all the way. And then pull that tight, just like that. And then each one, we're going to go 1, grab the next one, 2, 3, and 4. Remove those tweezers, and then you can just go ahead and tighten it up as best you can. And now you've got that. So I'm going to go over here and get my little needle again. I've got some seed beads out. Let me grab those really quick. Oh, and some pinch beads too. Maybe we can use those. Why not? I didn't use any pinch beads in these tassels. I just went crazy and strung. But you could put pinch beads on there if you want to. I've got a bunch left. We'll see. Let's get a few more of these out. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. So I might even be able to get through. I might be able to do all 4. We'll see. We'll see if I can do it. Okay, there's one. And I'm just going to start putting seed beads on there. I didn't actually count before. Oh, I know. The reason I don't have a pinch bead or a spinel bead is I think they didn't fit. So they work on the thread, but I wasn't able to get them over this spot. Let me show you what I mean. I remember now. I actually intended to have the tassel contain all of it, but you can probably get it to work. It's just a little tight. See, here's a pinch bead, trying to get that on there. Yeah. So we're reaching a point where that doesn't really fit. So that's why I just did all seed beads for that part. And it's why I did the thread on my tassel. I had my heart set on having those beads included. And then they seem to have changed length. Sorry, I'm going to trim that. There we go. Ha, way faster. Woohoo! Yeah, I wouldn't try to get a spinel in here because it will actually probably break the gemstone if you try to get it over a doubled B-Lon like that. Oh, thanks, Cecilia. Oh, you're so awesome. Thank you. And so I didn't actually count, guys, for that. I just went to town. And so that's all I'm going to do there. And bring that. And so now we've only got 1 strand here. So just go ahead and bring it 1 time through like that. And then bring it through the loop 1 more time just to make it a little thicker. And you can use that same trick again. Go through the loop with your tweezers. And then I'm going to free that side a little bit. Pinch right above those beads there. Let's pull that in like that. And then when you take the tweezers out, you can use them to kind of push it like that. I even sometimes will get Chino's pliers and other pliers and just kind of let them be open a little bit like that, see? And just press them down. And this is where if you have a lighter, burner, something like that, it's kind of handy. You can trim the end. You could put a little glue on that and call it good. Or go a little shorter. Or you can just burn it. And there it is. And that's all we got to do. Just 3 more times. And you'll have your beautiful tassel. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, this definitely had a lot of steps. Would it help if I wrote them down, guys? I could do that. It was not really something that, you know, like an illustration wouldn't really help because it's not really super. I mean, I guess I could try to at least, you know, put the counts down, write those down. Oh, thanks, Gina. And my needle kind of went floppy there. What do you guys think of this makeshift needle thing? I don't know if it's easier, or I think the other needle's probably easier. I think I would just had them handy, so that's what I went with. I'll make at least one more. You guys let me know if you want me to just switch the demo here, but I've only got a few more little beads to string, and then, oh no. Hang on. It's all good. There we go. Yeah, these last little ones are tricky because you only have a little teeny little. So if you want to leave yourself a longer tail, maybe even start with 130 inches or something and leave yourself extra length on those tails. It can make this part easier. It will waste a lot of thread, but it's still, you know, if it saves you time, it might be worth it. All right, so you see the cool thing is now I can just compare my lengths. I don't need them to be the same, but I want them to be kind of close. Let's see, yeah, that's good. Let's do that. All right, so let's do this knot again. I'm gonna go around one and through, and then around again and through. So that's just a surgeon's knot, right? And then put my tweezers through the loop and then pinch the thread right above the bead that you want it to sit above. Tighten that down. And tighten that. You'll know you got it if you get a hand cramp. That's how you know you got it. Trim pretty close to that knot. And again, totally okay to use just some glue. You don't have to use pyrotechnics here, but there you go. So you guys get the idea. You want to do that 2 more times, and then you'll have your little tassels going. That one came out pretty. Let's bring that other one back. So you can see there's a lot of ways you can turn that into a lot of stuff. Like, you don't have to do necessarily everything exactly that way, and you can still improvise, get lots of cool different results. Yeah. So I'm going to scroll through here. I'm going to see if I missed anything. Oh, hey, Jill. Oh, happy to see you. You guys, Jill Wiseman is here. That's so awesome. We just did a really cool tutorial on Jill Wiseman's, her YouTube channel has awesome stuff, guys. But if you want to check out the one from yesterday, it's a rose petals earrings. And it's like this little cascade of Czech rose petals. Really fun one. There's always really great stuff on that channel. You got to check it out. And thank you for tuning in. All right, guys, I'm just scrolling. I'm scrolling to see if I missed anything. Oh, Nancy, that's awesome. Yay. And if I missed anything, I apologize, guys. This was kind of an intense, like, nose to the mat one, but felt like I was at yoga. I was making a mala, so, you know, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks, Sandra. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this way to use check buttons. And I still have one more coming at you that I'm working on actually currently. And all I can say is it's got hot pink in it. So, I mean, right? It's really pretty, like fuchsias with some bright green, like bright silver lined green seed beads in there. Not 100% done with it yet. So it could become lots of stuff. I'm not sure where I'm taking it. But if you missed the Wednesday class, we did a beautiful wire worked version that had the button as a focal as well. It was a beautiful dragonfly check button. And then at the bottom was all wire tassels. So it was like 100% wire. There was no thread, no needles. So if this wasn't your thing, go check out that one because that one was like all wire. And then, yeah, we're going to do something else on coming up next week. And then, yeah, I'll keep you posted on more things that are coming up. So let's do our giveaway. So again, if you wrote hashtag Gifty in the chat during this live, if you're live with us, today is the 19th, and it's somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. Pacific. And so if you're here watching it later, the giveaway is already over, guys. Sometimes I get entries after the live, so I'm just going to start mentioning that early. But we're going to give away a little kind of like live sale Danielle shopped for you gift. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Leanna. And thanks, Karen. Hey, Pat. Congratulations, Pat. Pat, if you're here, give us a shout in the chat and go ahead and just send me an email. That's Danielle at DanielleWickesJewelry.com. Send me an email and let me know where you'd like me to send your gift. And congratulations. And let's see if I missed any other questions in here. I saw a question about storing beads. So the way I store my beads is not super, I'm not super proud of it yet. It's a little messy because keep in mind, the kind of work I do, I have things labeled baggies, incoming and outgoing and all kinds of stuff happening. So it's a little messy, but a really great person for bead storage tips is Becky Foster. So if you go check out Biquito Burrito, her channel, she has really good tips. And she even did one for Sam. I think they did a class together where she showed organization tips on his channel. So yeah, and if you haven't already joined the Sam's Bead Shop email and text list, you really should, because it gives you notifications every time they go live and every time they have a live sale, which sometimes lately you want to be the first one there because they have a lot of cool stuff like bead box extras and things like that that you might want to be there for. And I always end up on the wait list, but it's always good to wait because good things come to those who wait list, as they say. So yeah. And so, yeah, so Becky is, let me grab, see, I think I have her. I put Colleen on the spot with that one, guys. Oh, she's so good. Oh my goodness. So right there, if you're looking for organization tips, amazing channel for organization tips. And she always has a really cool way of showing her beads. So when she opens a box and does an unboxing, she'll show you her sorting tips. And I really think it is helpful for you as a designer to see the beads in that way displayed and not the way that I do it. The way I do it is such a mess. It's really bad, but it's, we all get there in the end. So yeah. And so let me see if I missed any other questions. And if not, I want to invite you guys to a special live tomorrow. I know tomorrow is Easter Sunday, and I'm celebrating Easter here too. My kids, one of them wants an egg hunt. The other one says that he's too old. And so there's a little bit of an argument happening there. But after they've had a ton of chocolate and they're playing games and starting to kind of fight with each other, I'm going to come up here and do a live with Silver Silk Sunday. So Neela is in Spain this week and next week too. So Joan and Colleen and Jody and I are taking over his channel. And we're up to no good. We're going to do a giveaway every 15 minutes during the live because we may or may not have robbed the Silver Silk store before he left. And so we're going to be giving away silky gifts, and Joan has a really cool design she's going to share with you guys. So if you're free tomorrow, if you're not, don't worry, because we're going to do it again on the 27th. So you won't miss it. So either way, we'd love to see you for Silver Silk Sunday. And that comes on at 1 o'clock Pacific. That's my time. And I think that's 3 Central, 4 Eastern. And again, that's on Silver Silk and More YouTube channel. Yeah. And so let me see. Did I miss anything here? Just scrolling. Oh, yeah. And we got the link for you right here for Silver Silk if you want to check that out. Leanna says the 4 Musketeers. Yes. The 4 cap chain burglars is more like it. We're calling ourselves the chain gang, the Silver Silk chain gang. He's caught us already, but he's not stopping us. So, so yeah, we will see you tomorrow for that. And then, of course, Seed Bead Saturday, every Saturday, 2 p.m., just like today. And next week, I have a special one. Let me show you something really quick. Before I let you go, I would love to show you what I'm doing next week. So these beautiful kits are from Leslie Pope, Twisted Sister Beads. If you don't already have the kit, no worries, she's got more. I'm going to be showing how to make, my other one is already in process, but she's coming on with me to demo these gorgeous kits. And we're going to be doing some of her kits, I think we're going to try to pop on every month with a kit because she has a lot and I want to make them all. So that's for next Seed Bead Saturday. Yeah, Lori, they're so pretty. They're so cool. They're top notch for sure. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Oh, I started a newsletter. It's brand new. If you got it last Saturday, that was the very first one. So I'm going to be doing a newsletter now. So if you're not already signed up for my newsletter, it's really easy to join. You go to DanielleWickesJewelry.com and you just you can either just create an account or sign up for the newsletter that way, or I think you can just click on the contact form and join the newsletter there. So if you put in your email there, it will add you if you allow it to. It'll ask you, may I add you to the newsletter? So a couple ways. If you're having any trouble, send me a note. But I want to wish you in the meanwhile Happy beading, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. And if not, I'll see you next week on Seed Bead Saturday. All right, bye for now.